One more stream. One more stream. One more stream. We can do this. We can do this, folks. Oh, hi. Hello. Hello, Christmas people. And other people too. Welcome to the Telling Tales end of year Christmas question mark festive stream where we're going to talk a lot of nonsense. I won't bother doing all the usual promo stuff. There's links below. You can do the rest. I guess I can't think why you'd be tuning into this if you're not a regular viewer. So if you're not, this is a weird welcome, but hi, hello, check out the rest of our stuff, etc. I am joined tonight by a bunch of the TT crew from various series and stuff, and I'm not giving them character art or recaps or anything. This is just introducing them as human people. Disgusting. And first up, who should we pick first? Let's go with you. Hello. Hi, Johnny.
Oh, muted. Hello.
Great start. Good. Solid.
Excellent.
Solid. Traditional Telling Tales
start as we mean to go on, yeah.
Absolutely. Ooh, look at us, the two main GMs of the channel. Look at us. Arm in arm.
I'm demoted to Mondays, as everybody knows.
Yeah,
I don't even know what I was. There's something day of the week is what
Johnny
Mondays
only exists
isn't
on
it?
Mondays. Yeah, Johnny only exists on Mondays. The rest of the time, he has to go back in the cage.
Yeah.
So
brought into existence for 2.5 hours a week for your amusement.
Schrodinger's GM the rest of the time.
Help me.
So there we go. There we go. We've got John as well. Look at that. Yeah, I'm not giving you any warning. You better be ready. Hi, John.
Hi, Matt.
Hi. You excited for our festive stream?
Yes.
He said in the most unenjoyable deadpan voice possible.
No, that's just my voice.
Oh no, I meant me. No, I'm the one without emotions. So let's bring. Oh, who's next? Steve, or as he should be known, the Asset Master.
I'll take it. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Is that what? What,
Johnny?
What?
The word asset, not
asset. Yes, not.
I mean, a lot of us are from Yorkshire, so there's a bit of confusion here. But yeah,
I think Johnny went to the same place I did, which is if you miss one crucial syllable out of that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're not.
It may also
to
apply.
it or anything.
No, we're not dwelling on it.
No,
which is
because we're professionals. We'll just move over that, gloss over that.
Absolutely. We've got a Holly as well. Here's Holly looking disgusted with all of us.
Indeed. The merriest of happies to everybody.
Absolutely. Nightbites, so you would abbreviate that as Assmaster. I mean, maybe.
Exactly.
See, I was just going at... Johnny, were you along the same lines as me, the Yorkshire lines of what "et" means in Yorkshire?
I wasn't.
No,
okay. I was with John. Yeah.
Okay, I was just worse than everyone then. That's good. That's fine. We've got Chris as well.
That's not great either.
No, it's not. It's not good. It's not good. No. But we are where we are, and now we just have to pick up the pieces and move on. Hello, Chris.
The enthusiasm radiating festively from all of your faces is withering.
As it should be. Hi, everyone. So, hi, we're telling tales, believe it or not, or we're some of telling tales anyway. And we are here in the last gasping, wretched days of 2021 to talk about the year on the channel so far, the year ahead. If we've got a full year ahead, who knows? Maybe the bombs will drop before next September, December, whatever. I'm very tired. I should probably.
I think you've just predicted the expiry date there, Matt.
Yeah, it's fine. There's no particular format to this. I'm basically just going to open our Discord and go through all the questions people have suggested, and that's about it. And then if anyone in chat wants to throw anything into the mix, they can, and we'll just ramble on like that until we're bored. Basically, I think that's the idea. Oh, and Chris has a song for us. Maybe
that makes it. I was press ganged into providing a song for you, so
yep. Oh yeah, he didn't do this willingly. It's all it's just my emotional blackmail. But if Chris feels comfortable later, he will sing us sing us or play us
I
a song. or
haven't
whatever.
felt comfortable since like 2005.
I do know what you mean. Yeah, so there we go. That's about it, really. That's everything. So with that in mind, let's no, Johnny, go ahead, please.
Just as a small point of order, something I've just thought of. I saw some of the questions earlier, and it may be worth us, because there may be some people who want to watch this that haven't caught up with everything.
Oh,
So is it worth, like, sort of, you know, if I'm about to say something is my favorite bit and it's from season 3 of Call of Cthulhu, saying spoiler alert for that season of that thing.
Cool.
And
anytime we do a spoiler alert, and we probably will do there'll be quite a lot of spoilers on this stream, and maybe if you're really starting with Telling Tales, this might not be the stream for you if you want to be spoiled. Maybe you don't mind that. But yeah, anytime we mention something from a series, we'll mention what series it's from first, and maybe like roughly whereabouts it is, so that we can so that people can skip forward or whatever if they want. That is a very good suggestion indeed, Johnny. Thank you so much. So let's start with a nice icebreaker. Yeah, like this time of year, ice, cold. Yeah, winter. Good, you with me?
Very good, Matt.
Yeah, I thought so. Someone asked us about eggnog.
Absolutely not.
And it led to a long discussion about what is eggnog.
That'll be the general thing, I think. I suspect the person who asked us is probably from North America. Eggnog's not so much a thing over here. Has anyone here had eggnog?
I had eggnog and I still regret it. I would rather eat a durian if we're like having obscure things that people eat. I would eat 3 durians to 1 egg or nog.
Right. Yeah. I think it's just like drinkable custard, right? Basically. Is that the idea of it?
Well, custard's kind of
drinkable.
Sure.
Anyway.
Okay, intended
I would
to just
much rather
drunk.
drink custard. To be
I
honest.
literally have eaten custard from a can, and I would literally rather anything than eggnog.
So what I imagined is that I would go into it thinking it would taste like some kind of, you know, like a caramel milkshake. But then I would have that thing like when you drink fizzy water and you expect it to taste like lemonade, and you kind of go, ugh. And I don't know whether that's accurate or not.
Is it kind of cinnamony as well, or?
In my head, so I did actually look up a recipe for it, and it was really weird annoying because all of the recipes I could find were British recipes, probably written by people who had never actually had eggnog.
Right.
But the general gist I got was it is fancy custard, but instead of vanilla, it's flavored with like nutmeg and cinnamon.
Right.
And sometimes booze, but not necessarily.
So it's a drinkable egg custard.
Yes. That's the feeling I
don't
get.
know if Americans have egg custards.
They do, but I think they might call them washing machines or something.
I think they call them taps. Or maybe aluminium. So yeah, I don't know.
Would we class advocat as eggnog?
Advocat from Agati.
I've never had advocat.
I haven't had advocat either. No, don't know. Have we actually here on this? I think not only if we have a broadly non-eggnog crew here for this stream, I think we might have a hell of a lot of teetotalers. Johnny, you don't drink, do you? John doesn't drink. I don't drink. Steve, Chris, Holly, do you guys drink?
Yeah, but like not since the pandemic started.
I do,
drink at home.
But almost exclusively mojitos. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's like I'm a vegetarian, but I only eat veal.
Why is mojito the most immoral of alcohol?
Yes.
Which is basically my situation at the moment, because married to a vegan. So pretty much only whatever meat is bought for me.
Yeah. Okay, sauerkraut kid. Custard is often frozen like ice cream, especially in the Midwest. I think custard is frozen kind of in the Middle East and Asia as well. When it can be, or cooled at least.
I'm okay with frozen custard. Was anyone alive for the great frozen yogurt debacle of like 1993 through 1999?
You know I was.
When
I
every
existed.
single
If any
shop,
one thing is known by everyone on Telling Tales or who ever watched Telling Tales, it's that I existed in the 90s, yes.
Wow, I never even had frozen yogurt, despite during this halcyon age, every other shop in the local shopping centre was selling some kind of frozen yogurt.
Yeah.
I just know it's a thing because of The Good Place.
Yeah, well, as The Good Place says, frozen yogurt is just like ice cream, but slightly inferior in every single way. So, yeah. Cool. So, yeah, let's. I'll try and shift up between the odd Christmas questions and the actual Telling Tales ones. But let's go with. You know what? Like, there's some big questions here, and a lot of them are from Night Bites. Thank you very much, who I know is watching, and they're really good questions from the patron section. I will go and look at the general community section as well and do all those too. But there's some good ones from Night Bites here and big topics here. Let's start with favorite NPCs, because I think that's a really good one. So favorite NPC from a Telling Tales game this year, or maybe even not. No, States Telling Tales. None of us have any time for doing stuff outside anyway. Barely, a bit. Well, some of us do. And every time I ask this, I want to give you guys a chance to think, because I've been thinking over these all week. So I'll go with mine first. My favorite NPC, and this, I guess this is cheating, because for me this is like favorite player character, because I am going to pick one I played, because of course I am. But hands down and by far away, my favorite NPC I've played this year was the Jester Poltroon from the Morkborg one shot, because he was fucking hilarious. And if no one has seen that, again, yeah, spoilers for the Morkborg one shot. But he was essentially John's cowardly jester who accompanied his debauched, horrible noble around everywhere, like performing bad tricks and kind of handing him things. But it very quickly became apparent that he was a very nasty, determined individual who would brook no shit from any other member of the party and would frequently threaten them with death or worse if they in any way interfered with his meal ticket. And it was almost entirely improv, and I really, as soon as I latched onto it, I was like, how can I introduce him to the maximum number of scenes and interactions in this one? So Poltroon the Jester. Anyone else?
I got one.
Go on, Chris.
Also reaching back into the before times, the bit that you set up, which still has me in fits of laughter during Troika, where the player party were in a hall and were confronted by this extra dimensional being of pure light, in which the facets of the entire universe could be seen, and just this celestial layering of orbs and intellect. And it turned to them and said, "My dear friends, have you ever considered being your own boss?"
It's very good. I can't take any credit for the writing of that. It's a random encounter from the Troika core book, but it's fucking amazing. Yeah.
So good.
Although, you know what? I think actually the pyramid scheme, I can't remember whether it's written as having a pyramid scheme in the book, but the line, "Have you ever thought about being your own boss?" was mine. But yeah,
so good.
It's fun. It was in it for like 10 seconds, and
and it was probably the best 10 seconds of the channel.
Yeah, and somehow, I was basically just prophesying NFTs there. So yeah,
you should have minted it, and then you'd have been golden.
Yeah, it would have been especially appropriate because it was someone else's work. So anyone else?
Topical.
Everyone doesn't have to answer them all. If you don't have an answer, that's fine. But anyone got another one?
I think I have too many favorites, but I can tell you what the best least favorite one is. The one that I really hated because she was done very well.
Okay. You love to hate them, sort of thing.
Yes.
Okay.
It was the leader of the expedition in Fetters of Stone.
Okay.
First name I can't remember, but she was a Kohinoor.
Yeah. Marielle?
Yes.
Yes, that rings a bell.
And it was because I have literally had her as a manager at some point in my life. It was like person put in a position of authority who has probably read books and attended seminars about being in a position of authority, but isn't quite sure how human beings work. Or goblins, as the case may be.
Sure. Yeah. Not that I have extensive experience of middle managers. Yeah, cool. I'm liking these. These are all mine so far. Let's carry on. Johnny, you must have one. You must have someone you really enjoy playing.
Yeah, I really liked Mary Brown in the Cthulhu series, which spoiler in a way, because I guess for season 2/3, she wasn't going to be a recurring character. And then Inga's character said to her that she should continue running, should consider running as an MP against the character who was in that was an MP. And thus she became an MP and then ended up in the third series and became quite a major character. So that was quite cool. She wasn't necessarily going to be a massively major character and then became a very major
grew
character.
In the telling sort of thing.
Yeah. And that's, it's nice that came from the collaborative kind of way that the games are run, that kind of grew out of that, which was nice. And then the other is the Hermit from Shadows of Estrin, because I got to just be really gross and make everybody really uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was
I haven't watched that bit. I haven't listened to it or anything like that. But I have heard everyone on the channel just be like, "Oh, they were horrible." So maybe I should have a look at that. Was that just? And I don't mean to link this in, but Johnny is a notorious fan of this film, and I too recently watched The Lighthouse. Was there any kind of were you channeling a bit of the violent elements of Defoe in that or anything?
No, it's just it was all gross noises, really.
Sure.
It was yeah.
Cool.
We need a playlist. All gross noises.
Clearly. Anything from Stephen Holly? Like I say, don't feel you have to come up with them.
Well, I'll mention the ones from chat, of course. Blackheart.
Has he been in actually on screen this year?
This year, not sure. I've lost track.
I don't know. He might have been near the very beginning.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Well, he must have been, because we've been streaming. We had our 1 year anniversary in September, right?
Yeah.
And he was in it because he was, I can't remember if he was living with or seeing Ephenea before they went off to the Tomb of
Simbroom spoilers. Let's just put this in there. Simbroom spoilers. If you're not up to date and you're not past, I don't know what to tell you. Just don't watch or whatever. Skip forward. Because there was a scene with him after Ephenea died, right?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Oh shit! I just don't know what's happening in my own campaign.
I remember.
Maybe I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's. Yeah, Ephenea must have been written out this year.
Yes.
Yeah, so possibly Blackheart's probably been in it this year. Probably, maybe, yes. Sorry, Steve. Carry on. I was just curious about what happened in my own campaign.
Yeah. And the elevator attendant from Troika,
the monkey.
Yes,
the baboon.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Me personally, Bertram Mills, The Many Faces of.
The ringmaster persona in particular, I greatly enjoyed.
I was really worried that I'd actually upset Inga by being quite rude in character after the first introduction, and I messaged her afterwards and was like, just to double check, all of your sort of response to that was in character and not that you were actually upset with me, but it was fine.
Yeah. 42 has pointed out that the lift attendant was a mandrill, not a baboon. You're quite right.
because we kept making jokes about mandrills in the elevator and mandrill in the elevator.
Yes.
Because in the vampire campaign we were running, there's a character called Mandrill who lives in the elevator shaft.
Mandrill, yes, absolutely. Holly, anyone for you?
I'm struggling to pick out a specific one, but I did enjoy your representations of the NPCs that already existed in the One Ring one shot. I really enjoyed those, particularly the two little kids. I thought you did an amazing job with those because the little boy irritated the hell out of me.
The kids. Where were the kids?
The hobbits.
Oh, the hobbits. Hobbits. Right. Yeah. Mungo Sackville Baggins,
and I can't remember the little girl's name.
I can't remember.
She was amazing.
Celandine Brandybuck is the other character.
Yeah, those were fantastic. And then also Chris's representation of particularly Fred Johnson and the Mormons in the Expanse one shot, I thought was really good. Partially just because of on-screen and in-book accuracy, but then also the stuff in the Mormon Church was quite amusing.
Nice.
Can barely remember what stint I put on them. That was a million years ago, and it was like
try running
540
like 12 things. People are mentioning
and it was like
stuff
16 hours long.
Yeah,
as well.
it was
so
like, it was like 7 hours worth. So I'm not surprised that you've wiped that from your memory.
I think it's our longest one shot to date.
Thanks everyone.
It was good
for reminding me.
I enjoyed it. It was a great one to play in.
That's just such a classic Chris move, can I say? Just like, this was really good, Chris. Oh, thanks for reminding me. Yeah. Let's go for another silly Christmas question before we move on. Are there any foods you eat only around Christmas time? And again, like I think this was asked by Just Rob over on the Discord, who I think is American. So I don't know if this is a specific, like, generally to kind of, British and Irish people, but
this is a very low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, mince pies, but only because you can get them only at Christmas. If I could get them all year round, I would absolutely eat them all year round.
I was going to give that exact same answer, and actually the co-op in my village, I noticed them in there first on the 1st of November, and I've been buying probably 3 packs a week since then.
God, you have a problem.
Are you gonna get extra and like store them throughout the year?
Freeze them if they're freezable. I might. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Thanks, John.
I would like to just provide a counterpoint to that and say I only eat mince pies because I have to at Christmas.
Yeah, but like nobody likes you, so
you've got a good point.
Jeez.
Chris, that's not very Christmassy of you.
Me and Chris's friendship is based on this sort of stuff, and
this is one of the opposite corners of the screen.
Strong for about 15 years now, so it's all fine. Pigs in blankets, I guess.
There's
for the filthy meat eater point of view.
Although
I would absolutely eat them all year round if they were in the shops.
I think we might all be missing the foil wrapped elephant in the room, being Quality Street celebrations and roses.
You can buy those all year round.
You can, but you don't.
You can, but you don't.
It's true.
And nor should you.
Exactly.
No, definitely not. Here we go. I'll say I'm probably the only person to eat these ever because my favourite Quality Street is the toffee penny.
I'm a reasonable big fan of the toffee penny.
One of my oldest friends recently on Twitter essentially called me subhuman scum for even considering eating them. So
why do you surround yourself with people like me?
I don't
intentionally do it. It's a natural reaction to me.
I can one-up you by saying my favourite chocolate in a box of celebrations is the Bounty.
I really like the Bounties. I think my favourite are the Maltesers, but I do like the Bounties.
Yeah, Maltesers.
I've had some bad looks for just suggesting that the Bounty is the best chocolate.
But I don't get this, right? Because there's always one chocolate in every collection, whether it's the Bounty or the toffee penny or like the strawberry creams, that everyone is like, how dare you like that thing? You're so terrible. And it's like, but they're removing it so that all the others are for you. they're reducing the competition for the actually nice one.
If anything,
they're doing you a favor.
If anything, it's tactical chocolate eating. Like you
Exactly.
guarantee that you're going to get all of the bounties or all of the strawberry creams in that box of celebrations because no one else is going to eat them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Counterpoint to John's comment there, and I hope nobody in my family is watching this, but when I was a kid, I knew I was the only one that liked the coffee chocolates, so I never ate any, and then they'd just be left at the bottom, and I got like 20 extra chocolates to everybody else.
That's like some galaxy brain tactics there.
That's amazing.
Wow.
And you got there like my immediate gut reaction to that, Johnny, and it's probably because I've just been talking with Chris for a few minutes, was to say, "Don't worry, they're not watching."
They're not, but you know. I've betrayed them, and now they betray me. It doesn't. It's all evens out.
We might have to translate this entire last 60 seconds for people who are not from the Irish archipelago. See there, Chris, I put that one in for you.
I noticed.
Because
technically cultural appropriation, but you know what? Fine.
Fuck off. So, yeah, like, because do other countries have okay, here we go. I know we've got a bunch of Americans in the chat right now. America, do you get like boxes of chocolates, like mixed chocolates that are basically only really come out or only really bought around Christmas, and like they have different types in and you choose from them, like a big selection. It's like a selection box, but they're loose, right? Do you have that concept? Is that a thing? I don't know if they really exist outside of our little group of scattered, horrible little lands.
I have a friend who moved to Canada a few years ago, and they said that they had to, like, basically go on an hour's train journey to find a British import shop to find a box of Quality Street. So I guess not. Oh,
okay. No, Sauerkraut Kid says absolutely that happens, but they're just packaged differently at different times of the year. Okay, yeah, I guess that's kind of like we have them. But yeah, that's in case you're worried, you don't know what Quality Street and Celebrations are. Those are the different types. Yeah, Pigs and Blankets would be mine. Yeah,
Stalin.
Which, again, I'm not sure that will make any sense outside. Devil sausages, I guess it would be the term other places use for them, right?
Would it?
What?
Yeah. Doesn't deviled mean wrapped in bacon?
Oh, deviled.
Yeah, deviled. Sausages wrapped in bacon. I don't know what
101 Dalmatians is a much darker film after that realization.
Is it?
Because Cruella de Vil, she's wrapped in bacon.
The
metaphorical bacon of her cruelty to animals.
The metaphorical bacon of the dogs. The dog bacon.
I hope you're following along at home, because
the dog bacon. Yeah. Make Johnny spray that drink everywhere. Yeah, you know what I mean. Sausages wrapped in bacon. That's the thing. Anyone else with any Christmas time only foods?
Stollen.
You said Stollen.
I like Stollen.
Which is like
if I could buy Stollen again during the rest
of the year.
I
suppose Sprouts are another obvious one, right? Like,
but do you like them, or do you just eat them
at
the right time?
The question wasn't whether we liked them.
That's true.
That's true. But yeah, I think they're just like tiny cabbages.
Yeah.
And taste like tiny condensed cabbages. Which
a factoid came across my fact radar recently that if you have the childhood hate of Sprouts, you should give them a second try, because in the last 30 years, the traditional bitter Brussels sprout has been replaced with a better bred, yummier variety. So if
I say I don't care.
Look, I'm just saying
you can hate them forever.
You can address your Sprout trauma. And there is healing.
But do I have to? There is the option to not.
It's a valid question.
I am always allowed to not eat sprouts.
Frozen sprouts are absolute trash. Frozen sprouts. If you've been fed frozen sprouts, I absolutely do not blame you for hating sprouts.
Here's some insight from Malice. Pigs in blankets for me are cocktail sausages wrapped in breading or croissant bread. That's interesting. See, that we just call those sausage rolls.
Oh yeah.
You see, that is why there should be stricter border checks between like North America and the
Well, as we found out on the Discord earlier this week, and if you're watching, folks, and you're not part of the Discord, come join us there and have chats with us. As we found out earlier this week when we were talking about Christmas crackers, and I think did we mention them on stream? It was on Long Silent Night, right? The little 2-part Call of Cthulhu thing. Yeah. And we realized that North Americans and others who were watching may have thought we meant crackers, like, you know, the food.
Cheese and crackers. Yeah.
Like cheese and crackers or whatever, yeah. But we meant Christmas crackers that you pull apart, which and I went and looked that up. They're definitely like a Commonwealth thing, which I'm not going to explain the Commonwealth, but like, you know, so UK, is Ireland part of the Commonwealth, Chris?
We were the first to leave.
Sure. But when did you leave?
Oh God.
You still have Christmas crackers, right? As a former Commonwealth country.
Okay. Yeah.
So UK, Ireland, Canada, New Zealand, South Africa, Australia all have Christmas crackers because they were like a Victorian invention. But here's the thing, they are banned from flights in and out of America.
Wow. Embargoed, one might say.
Mildly explosive. I mean, they are mildly explosive.
I mean, they are. They're tiny little bits of gunpowder on the ends of 2 bits of paper. If you get enough of them together, you can really have some fun with it. As a child that put about 20 of those little things inside one cracker.
Yeah.
Fair
enough. Oh, I'm corrected. 42. Christmas crackers are not really a thing in Canada. Fair enough. Fair enough. I think they are in Australia and New Zealand.
It'll probably it'll be a Commonwealth thing, but it'll also probably be like places that British expats tend to go a lot.
Yeah.
And we don't tend to go to
Canada
quite as much as we do to like
There's
South Africa, Ireland.
There's just no room. Canada famously just full of humans. No room for expansion.
Just basically Montreal and some forest, isn't it?
Yeah. Pretty much.
No, there's Vancouver where they keep all of the aliens.
Yeah. Vancouver's just northern Seattle. Fight me, Canada. Yeah. So anyway, moving on. Was there any other Christmas-only foods anyone wanted to mention before we get back to the actual RPG question? No,
I know it's like Christmas pudding, but it's obvious, really, isn't it?
42 says cancelling Patreon. I would genuinely love to live in Canada. I'd really like to live there, but I do not have a viable skill set to emigrate there. So believe me, it's all just my own bitterness. Specifically Vancouver, which I've been mildly obsessed with since the mid-90s. There it is again. When I realized that the X-Files was entirely shot there and it was my favorite TV show. So there you go. I love Canada. We covered Malice as someone from Seattle. I can agree. There we go. Cool. Let's do an RPG question. And it's another like favorites one, right? Favorite stuff from this year. Let's go with biggest surprise, like twist or surprise or something that you liked. We also do have later on like favorite moments. So let's try and stay focused on like just the biggest surprise or twist or whatever. I will go with, I don't know if that was 2021.
Big spoilers though.
Yeah, big old spoilers on all of this, obviously. I am not going to go with my favorite one, and all I have to do to say what my favorite one I've ever done is just say Baumello's body, and everyone who's watched Simbroom will get that. But I think that was 2020, so I won't go with that one. I'll go with how about it's a tricky one. I'll say actually weirdly the end of the Mort Borg one shot, where the players are gearing up to fight this demonic looking figure, like goat-headed figure in robes with this floating crown over its head, all very Hellboy, and then literally it basically talks to them and then collapses, and all that was beneath the cloak are some sticks. which is just like this wonderfully creepy folk horror type moment. And then that was the end of it. That was the end. And it gave them the mask and was like, "Oh no, please take it." They just kind of picked it up and went, "Okay," walked out, and that was the end. I did like that. I liked that. Yeah. Anyone else with one? Biggest old twist or surprise?
Well, I mean, there's one obvious one for the Call of Cthulhu players regarding, again, spoilers, the exit of a certain the speedy exit of a certain character, which came back to, and yes, Mary Brown. That was a mess. That was entirely from left field and kind of spun us on our heads a bit, really.
I thought you were talking about the speedy exit of a completely different character in the season before.
Oh.
Oh,
I'm not completely up to date, but someone got disemboweled.
The host in season 2.
Yes.
Yeah. When the ringmaster reveals himself to Sir John.
He made a very quick exit.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of not exactly saw that one coming, but it was. When those dice were thrown, there was there was one direction he was going, and it wasn't a good one.
Yeah,
I think happy times on Call of Cthulhu.
The Mary Brown one, similarly, I think was probably my favourite moment of shocking the players.
I think didn't that generate 8 seconds of silence? Was that the because we just sat there, and I think we timed it. It was like 8 seconds of absolute silence from the players. So that's the record, I think.
I think my I don't think I've got 7 seconds. I think my closest ones were the end so far of Blades in the Dark. So spoilers for that, I guess, where like I think people sat there for a bit like, oh shit, as the lightning barriers around the city slowly started collapsing to let all the horrible demonic spirits outside in. But I'm pretty sure there was something in. I think my biggest silence is a character dying in One Ring. I think it was Ned Pruner, the jailer, dying, and just like the description of that, and everyone looked very sad and quiet for a few seconds.
Yeah, that was less surprising and more just really sad.
Yeah, I guess it's not really a surprise, right? Yeah, I mean, you're just watching how his head kicked in, so it's not really a surprise now. Any other surprises or twists that people liked?
I think this isn't necessarily a plot surprise, but every time Ascarai has gone, I'm going to try and do this 1 in a million shot, and then rolls a critical and derails everything.
Fuck that guy. Not Sam, Ascarai. Yeah, he's now 1 shot, 2 critical and like boss moments. It's fine. It's all fine. Yeah, that's good. All right. Then let's. Have we got any other fanciful questions? No, not really. We're only going to be serious now, I'm afraid. In that case, let's go on to a question that was pretty closely related, which is just kind of favorite moments. So let's lead off what we were talking about there. Is there any kind of bits? They don't have to be like twists or surprises, but like any favorite moments that people want to throw out there. And considering how much I've run this year, I have so many. I'm not even going to get started on it. So other people can say stuff, and I'll think I might throw at the end if I think of something.
I'll leap in, and so the trap scene in Morkborg with the fire globes, where it was a pretty dysfunctional party. That's the whole thing of Morkborg. But yes, we'd gone there. We'd just got through one fight, and I think it was Pierre's character, because I'd seen there was something in the ceiling, and Pierre's character was I just like, shh, don't say anything, keep quiet, and Pierre's character was having none of it, and obviously he sprang the trap, and I was the one that suffered for it and nearly died.
Yeah,
and it was
really
just the reactions between characters and the fact that they were just loving it. Oh, you just almost burnt to death. That was great.
Yeah, very, very Morkborg, where the other character's reaction is less "quick, put them out" and more "back away, or lest we be in flames." Yeah.
Didn't I then almost get eaten by moths or something, like immediately afterwards?
That was certainly it was a similar room. I can't remember if it was the rooms that look the same. This is bad. I wrote the entire thing. I can't remember these things. There was also a good scene in that one with the guy in the room who was sort of seemed to be a normal person who'd been imprisoned down there.
Yes.
And then you were all paralyzed, and there was like a woman with a dog's head playing a cello and stuff. It was all very weird death metal album art cover. Yeah. Anyone else? Favorite moments?
I think one of my favorite bits was during Wonder Home, where I was running at the time, and I'd taken everyone up by this little kind of terraced waterfall, and there was a flooded zone, and we were trying to build a little makeshift bridge to get across it, and then halfway through realized that there was no need because it was only 2 foot deep. But because we had a miner with us, and because they had been helping building the bridge, we all pretended it was really deep and treacherous just to not hurt their feelings.
Nice.
Nearly died of wholesomeness.
Yeah, that was adorable. I loved the tavern in that same Wonder Home one shot, with the mole barkeeper that just had some grass behind and just popped up out of the dirt. That was quite fun.
Yeah, I definitely liked playing the Panda Abbot in that. It was fun as well. While other people think of favorite moments, Malice has brought up this: the goblins arguing with the hotel staff about having a license for tunnel construction. Yeah, they were building an interdimensional tunnel through the hotel, and yeah, that was a good moment. Troika, in many ways, I mean, that one shot was basically a series of moments because that's how the story is constructed. I also like in that one the wedding that's been disrupted by the groom growing to the size of a giant after eating some tainted sorcerer's vol-au-vents. That was a lot of fun to do.
We got to do Troika again.
We got to do Troika again. It's very good.
I really want to run one of the releases for Troika, which has my favorite ever RPG story name, just of all time, which is So You've Fallen Down a Well, or So You've Been Thrown Down a Well. I think it's the latter, but yeah. Any others? Anyone for any others? Good old moments.
It's really hard to narrow them down.
Yeah, I think if I had to pick one from the games that I've run, it would probably be Melvin's uncle arriving in the village in the first season of Call of Cthulhu, and then the exchange that takes place between Melvin and his uncle. To me, obviously there was a lot of other story going on, but when I look back on that series, it almost feels like that was Melvin's character arc from beginning to end, was that. And that was great.
It's the most feel-good character development I've ever seen in a Call of Cthulhu story.
Another one, I think, not so much in character, but when we were building the characters for Dungeon World, and suddenly realized we had built literally probably one of the best characters. I really want to read a book about their expeditions.
I would love to go and just have more of that content, because what was it? Binklebart, Ember Tongue, and Chris, what was your character called again?
I can't even remember. I'm sure I have the sheet somewhere, but like, oh my god, they were so good.
They were adorable. That was fantastic. I loved playing them.
Here's something I'll throw in, even though no one watched it. Easily the least popular thing we've ever done so far, even less popular than our first Vampire series. And that's the Fiasco one-shot. And I'll tell you this, the kind of climactic scenes of the Fiasco one-shot, I really enjoyed playing, because as with most of my Fiasco scenes, I was chewing the carpet so furiously that, you know, the edges of it were frayed all the way around. Like, yeah, with my weird sort of southern fried, like, yeah, serial killer type character.
You should go back and watch that, viewer, because nobody has. You'll be one of the first.
No one wanted it. Fiasco's day is done, I think. It used to be a big deal, and now maybe no longer.
We enjoyed it, if nothing else.
We did enjoy playing it, as we always enjoy playing Fiasco. Anyone for anything else, or shall we move on? Let's move on. So we have one here, another one from Just Rob. Short and or long-term goals for Telling Tales. I'm happy to field my own personally, and then we'll move, because I think like there's the sort of the idea of like we're a broader crew in Telling Tales, but there's definitely like I think it's fair to say there's a little core crew who kind of do the management of it. So much, and I didn't mean to kind of split this stream in half with me and John and Steve do kind of a lot of the management behind the scenes, and Johnny does some as well. But like from like that point of view, honestly, like it's just we're now past the point of making it self-sufficient, which was our first goal. Only just. We're only just past the point of making it self-sufficient. Actually, historically, maybe not, if you get my meaning. Like it might still overall be a negative cash flow. I'm not sure. Anyway, and that's nice.
Accountancy is obviously...
Yeah, it's not my strong suit. So I think, like, one of the things for us, obviously, is getting to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube so that we can, you know, monetize the damn thing. Other than that, I don't know. I've been I'm going to say this on stream because why the hell not? I have a thing, right? And I actually wrote about this on Twitter the other day. I am going to try and get someone I really like from other streams to guest on Telling Tales. And if I can do that, anyone who reads the Twitter, which is a very banal feed of just this is what we're doing, will absolutely know who I'm talking about, because it's the only person I've talked about in the last few days.
I can certainly
that
guess.
I've mentioned. And I'm going to shoot my shot and try and get them on Telling Tales for a one shot or something. And won't. No, we are ants beneath their feet. But like, yeah, that's something I'm going to try for, because got to shoot your shot and try that sweet networking, right? So that's something I'm going to try and do.
You're all aiming too low. My goal is for us to get on a panel at Octocon or Airtocon, or one of the larger, one of the larger ones on the Plague Island to our east.
And then what?
Not
talk
to
about
our
eggnog.
East. Yeah,
it'll just be this for a 2-hour panel.
Oh my god!
Live
just
audience,
and they'll love it.
They'll love it. They'll love it.
That's what
They'll
they're
be
there for.
chanting, John. True.
Please leave, John.
They'll be shouting out written requests. Do the hermit, you know, stuff like that.
It's
like
not
you
COVID
to play him,
safe.
not like a dance.
It's not COVID safe.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
The first row would need, ponchos.
Yeah.
Face guards. Yeah.
like one of my short-term goals is just to finish Cincinnati Chronicles, honestly, because like we had a bit of a realization pulling back the curtain about halfway through this year, that if we're going to do stuff, we were kind of trying to pick what to do and where to go and what things to take on. And we had a bit of a revelation. I say we, like, you know, it's certainly one I had, and I think a number of the others shared in it as well, is that rather than pick things that we think will work and will, you know, oh, let's try and do this and therefore get more viewers or whatever, we thought we should just do things that we want to do, that we've wanted to do for a while, that this affords us the chance to do, that we might not get a chance to do otherwise, because then at least if it all fails, at least we've done something we wanted to do. And that's what Cincinnati Chronicles was born of. Absolutely. It's something I've wanted to do since I was about 14 or 15 years old. So getting the chance to do it with people who want to do it, and who are up for it and interested in that high concept role-playing experiment that it is, like being able to bring people in and do that's, you know, so that's my short-term goal on Telltales, is do Cincinnati Chronicles and do it in a way where I can look back on it with the people who did it with me and go, oh, that was a lot of fun, that was really cool and satisfying.
So you're saying is what one of your big goals is to have fun?
I know, out of character. Character twist, plot twist. That's the biggest surprise of all on Telling Tales. Yeah, so that's it from me. I'll hand over to my fellow GM for some input on this, Johnny. What are your short and long term goals?
Short term goals are, I suppose, to finish the Esterin prologue things. So there's 2 more adventures which I think are of about a similar length. It's quite good because they're all quite different to each other, but are all kind of interlinked as well, I suppose, similar to the way that I ran the Call of Cthulhu stuff in a way. Because I was thinking back on those earlier when I was thinking about tonight and how they were, like, I was trying to think if I wanted to add a 4th one in, what would I have as the storyline that would make it different? Because like one's a murder mystery and one's like, you know, they're all different. So yeah, I guess finish those and then decide what to run next. Or there's the possibility of somebody else nabbing Mondays potentially, and I might be a player, which would be fun because
unheard
of. Or fired.
Or fired. Yeah. Wow. I don't play very often. Like with my offline group of friends that are not necessarily role players, but we sometimes do play role playing games. But I always run them, so me playing something is quite a treat when it comes up, which is why I always jump at Matt's Halloween games when we've done those offline in the past, because it's nice to not have to plan anything or have the you know, the fear of a plot not coming together properly or anything like that you have when you're running something. But that's not. I obviously do very much enjoy running things, and if I keep Mondays, I'll still enjoy it. And yeah,
Mondays are yours as long as you want them, Johnny. As long as you want them. As long as your shows are financially viable, you will.
Caveat: as long as the numbers are good.
Look, I just got a book about loads of occult relevant places in Britain. So if I needed more,
absolutely,
more plot hooks, I've got them.
Sure.
I think another personal goal for me is to continue to use the vehicle of one shots to subvert the dark atmospheric theme of telling tales with aggressively whimsical and adorable role-playing scenarios.
Which Chris keeps bringing up, and every single time I keep countering with him with our second one shot was Troika, which I ran. But you know, he's dying on that hill even if it doesn't exist.
Yep. It's literally a step ladder painted green, and I am dying on it.
We wouldn't want it any other way. Anyone else with any kind of like, from a player perspective, any kind of like character types you want to play, or I don't know, what do players do? How do you people think? I don't quite understand.
I've got 2 personal goals. Not really player. I can't think of any player-oriented goals. Sometimes I do have them. No, okay. My player goal is I had feedback a couple of weeks ago from a friend who was listening to, I think it was Fetters of Stone, who said that I made them cry. So my aim is to do that again, because that was fun. Other than that, I have an aim of finishing the Simbaroom portraits, because 2 of them still have the old original black and white year-old art, which is weird to look at itself because that was a year ago and my art has changed a lot in a year. But that's by the by.
3, not 2, surely. 3, not 2, surely. Ascarai and Tom.
The other one. Frederick, Frederick.
Oh, no, yeah. No,
I mean,
Efnea,
right. But she doesn't need another character portrait.
Yeah. Although your character also is not in line with the others, right?
Could probably, do with updating.
Stone stuff.
And I would quite like to work towards running my first proper session as a GM, not necessarily on camera. I'm not making any promises.
Yeah.
But
that's something we can talk about, though, because I think there's quite a few members of the crew who are looking to do that. I know Holly is nodding. Sam from Mondays is also looking to run his first one-shot at the beginning of next year. Steve as well.
Why are you pointing at me? I don't know.
And other people. One thing we're looking at to kind of let people kind of sort of break themselves into it in a bit more of a soft landing, as it were, is we're looking to do some recorded content, which we would then stream, but obviously it won't be live, as it were. So that's something we'd be looking to do. And kind of bringing people in that way, which I know people are quite keen on. I would be very surprised if Justin didn't want to run something, being as he is usually a GM. So there's himself as well. We have a comment I've been told to look at from just some guy. Hi, I want to see play a character in a world with magic that is convinced all magic is faked because he can't do it. Basically a D&D flat earther. Close to home. If I was the GM, I'd just be squashing that character. You know what I mean?
But it reminds me, isn't there a Pratchett character that's an atheist?
Yeah, I think there is. I can't remember what they're called, but yeah, I'm fairly sure that there is.
Yeah, and they've survived being hit by lightning 90 times or something.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Is that in Small Gods or
yes?
Or am I just
I think it is. Yeah,
might be in Small Gods.
I should know this, but yeah.
No, aren't they a character in Ankh-Morpork? Aren't they in the Vimes books? And they run a temple for people who don't believe in gods or something, and they walk around in earthed boots or something like that.
It is from Small Gods, because I remember the quote. What was it? It was gods like to see an atheist because it gives them something to aim at, or something similar.
Something like that. Yeah. Anyone else got any kind of short or long term goals with telling tales?
Well, big news for fans of Chris and his 6,000 character concepts. It's now 6,001 because I'm shuffling my Simbarum queue around for when Steo finally dies. Because
Steo is going to carry on forever.
Steo is going to outlive everyone.
I keep telling you, he can just retire to a farm somewhere. He doesn't need to die.
The coward's way out, John. I desire death, but I'm hoping to play a Ordo Magica character who isn't just, I don't know what's the right word for it. Irritating.
The ones Matt writes.
No, I think all of the Ordo Magica characters so far have been that specific kind of arrogant mage to some degree.
Sure, yeah.
And I want to kind of break that mold, but still bonk some heads.
We've had a kind of louche debonair mage.
Yeah, I think I just want away from that. I want kind of a down-to-earth mage who's kind of you know what?
Sure.
Magic. It's grand.
Night bites with a new hashtag here. Immortality for Steo.
Oh, God, that would be perfect.
God,
visit some ancient tomb, you know.
Any Any more on the long-term goals or anything? Or are we?
I mean, yeah, have enough time to be able to run a game would be lovely.
Yeah,
I'm
a big factor.
Yeah, having started, so yes, I would like to run some Delta Green, and started with the idea of just doing a nice short pre-written scenario that has now, it's like, oh, should we set it in the US, or we could set it in the UK? There's branches. I've done some research, and then suddenly it's ballooned into this thing where now I have too many notes and a whiteboard covered in scribbles, and now it is now definitely not. So there was a question I was going to ask if we had time, or maybe come on to it, but it is now definitely not like a 2 or 3 session adventure. So I'm going to have to look at that and figure out what to do. But I've got some great ideas. How to run it, I've no idea, but we can sort that out later.
That's always the boring bit. So yeah, let's talk about. So a couple of people have kind of asked this from different POVs. Any games, because Nightbite throw any games you'd like to play or run on stream that you haven't yet, and also Malice asked plans or systems for upcoming one-shots. And I think, like, in terms of actual plans for upcoming one-shots, the only things that are even remotely out there and roughly set in stone at the moment are that Sam should be running Cyberpunk 2020 in January, and I know Pierre is very keen on running another Dungeon World. Not necessarily like a sequel. I think like the idea is, it's a completely fresh one again. And I would be surprised if I didn't cap off the Alien trilogy at some point with another installment. But those are the only things planned, or even half planned. As far as like things I'd like to run as one shots go, how long have we got on this stream? Would be the answer to that. I know there's a lot of systems that we've all been excited about coming out. There's been a lot of talk about Mothership. There's been a lot of talk about These Dark Places,
Death in Space,
Cyborg, a whole lot of sci-fi stuff, which is interesting,
and a whole lot of Free League stuff as well, or Free League adjacent,
Yeah. So there's been a whole lot of talk about that, and I'll just mention a few off the top of my head that people have been talking about, and then people can jump in and say other stuff, or the same stuff with more focus. I know as well, I've been the new version of Everway recently arrived with me, and I'm quite interested in running that. I would actually genuinely love to revisit a couple of the ones I've done from this year. We mentioned Troika and doing a follow-up to that. I'd love to do another Mort Borg one. It was my favorite one-shot I run last year. No one else liked it. No, plenty of people liked it, but didn't rate it above the others. I really want to go back to that. One Ring, I'd love to carry on that central story. If anyone doesn't know, it had the conceit of being the Lord of the Rings Online central quest line, adapted for thing, and I'd love to do the next stage of that and like follow through that story against like the Black Worlds and things like that. Yeah, but then otherwise, just I have some fantasy stuff I want to not as in orcs and goblins, like some stuff I've wanted to run for a while on my shelf back there, and I'd love to get it to the table. I think it's really weird that we haven't covered Tales from the Loop yet. I'd really like, and this is less one shot and more series, but I'd really love to run a series of Yellow King. That's pretty high up on my list. That'd be a long one though. That'd be a long one. I don't know whether we can commit to that. But also, and this will appeal to exactly no one apart from John here with us, I swear to God, if I don't get to properly run a game of Amber, if nothing else, this is what this channel is for, so I can finally get Amber to the table. Amber is a diceless, virtually systemless role-playing game from the early 90s based on the cult series of magic realism fantasy books, Nine Princes in Amber by Roger Zelazny. And let me tell you, I want to get that to the table, because I love those books, because they're really fucking weird. But no one else has read them apart from John, ever in the world. Neil Gaiman's probably read them.
Yeah, I was going to say Neil Gaiman.
Yeah,
it looks like Nightbites might be aware of it.
Oh, nice.
Chat.
You've played in Night Bites. I'm so happy that someone else has played
One guarantee
and is
viewer.
aware of its existence.
It means you can't run it now. If there's if there's somebody going to watch it, there's
no. Just
so I'm kind of glad to hear you're going to be finishing the Alien trilogy, because that means like there's no expectations, because the third part of any Alien trilogy is really actually pretty bad.
Wait till parts 4 and 5.
Oh God, don't. I'm
are
really
they
looking.
points for parts 4 and 5, or are they a completely different franchise that just uses the same
Alien.
system? And then, sorry, Chris, go
I'm
for
also
it.
keen on running something that isn't from a book. I really want to tell a story I've written myself, which I've never done before in any like competent way, and it's terrifying.
I mean,
and
a
I
good
think
chunk
also
of Wonder Home was you.
Wonder Home kind of was, but it was ad-libbed, so it wasn't particularly structured. And I'd also like to, after my experience with Dune, I want to invite more people into science fiction worlds where I am a native. So maybe something Star Trek-y, or maybe some other weird Blake 7, the TTRPG. I don't know. I'm sure we'll find.
I bet there is one. I bet there is one, but I bet the system itself is hot garbage from being from the other
I mean,
age.
Blake 7, the TTRPG, is just basically Death in Space, but like PG 1970s BBC.
Yeah. There is actually, so the Star Trek stuff, I think there's a bundle deal going on at...
I saw that. It haunted me from Google Mail earlier today.
Any other systems that people want to either play in or get to the table as a GM or anything like that? I'm sure Johnny's got a list.
I'd obviously like to do Vesson, because it's when the Mythic Britain stuff especially would just be, it's just what I do anyway, but actually how it's supposed to be done. But I've also always, this may be a one-shot idea and I'm throwing it out way before I've planned anything, but I've always kind of wanted to do a BioShock TTRPG story.
Yeah.
So that could be something.
You're not even that limited there to like Rapture or anything, because there's always a man and there's always a lighthouse, right? So you could do all sorts of
I've kind of had ideas of the age system. I've kind of had ideas of combining like modern age with fantasy age and kind of using the spells slightly altered as the plasmids, and then but having the weapons from modern age. And I kind of thought that might work okay, but yeah, something to look into for future.
There's a random BioShock fact I learned yesterday that I didn't know, Johnny. Would you like to know? Because it might
go on.
It'll be a reference you also understand. No, probably no one else here, but you and I will both understand this. One of the lead art designers on BioShock was the guy who did all the art on Hot Water Music's 90s albums. All that abstract, surrealist things. Yeah. Who also was one of the lead designers on a game that came out recently called the Flame in the Flood, or the Fire in the Flood.
The Flame in the Flood. The
Flame in the Flood, and you can see it when you see the art. It looks very similar to his. And that game's soundtrack is by Chuck Ragan, which I only realized as John was playing it, and I was like, "That's the guy from Hot Water Music, damn it!"
I went up in the loft for my Christmas deck. And found this guy the other day.
Lovely.
Yeah. Oh, what a good friend.
Yeah, BioShock in RPG form would indeed be good. Anyone else with any system? Obviously, Steve, Delta Green is your little dream baby.
Yeah. Weird dreams. RuneQuest, actually, having bought the RuneQuest starter set, that looks kind of, quite...
Love the RuneQuest world. Love fantasy that isn't medieval. Bit of Bronze Age goodness with added ducks.
Personally, I'm just looking forward to playing in the Mothership one when it comes along, having played in like 3 or 4 of those, and every single one was fantastic. So
nice.
I'm also looking forward to hopefully playing in Steve's Delta Green game. That's another thing.
There's a bunch of follow-up questions from Uhtred43, who's one of our Discord folks, and I'm not sure we can answer these, but I want to read them out just because they amuse me. But I'm not sure it's possible to pick a favorite double entendre from Chris. Too many. A favorite Anton dice failure. Definitely can't pick one of them. Favorite character death. Not too many to choose from. Have we only had one? Oh no. Spoilers. Okay, so spoilers for if you just don't spoilers for Symbaroum, and I guess it's telling them that there's a character death in a thing. I don't know, whatever. If you care, you can skip. Spoilers for Symbaroum and spoilers for the latest Alien one-shots. And the first Alien one-shot for that matter. So there have been some of them.
Fetters.
Oh yeah, shit.
But that was like
that
was the goal for that playthrough, so that's kind of cheating.
Yeah. Have there been any Call of Cthulhu character deaths, Johnny? No, not player characters.
Make 2022 the year when we get tough on players.
And tough on the causes of players.
Yeah.
Well, actually, hang on. So there have been, spoiler alert, in Call of Cthulhu, there were 2 character deaths at the end.
Yeah.
Oh,
but but I nicked your thing of nobody knowing which ones it was.
Yeah. Not on screen, as it were.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that one can actually genuinely be answered then, can't it? So there's not too many to choose from. I mean, I'm gonna have to. I did like the ones in the most recent Alien one-shot because it was a explosive scene. So that was quite good. I enjoyed that. It's got to be FNA though, hasn't it? It's got to be FNA. The first is still the best. Like emotional, resonating, saddening. It's got to be FNA.
I think I would go for Chris. What was your lad called? Gara.
Yeah.
Because it was so perfectly cut with Gara falls and Shuglud reaches the top of the stairs and Gara's ghost passes him the beater.
Yeah.
And it's like
to explain to others who might not have seen it, the character Shuglud, played by Sam, is running to try and save the party and the situation as a whole, and along the way seeing all these the spirits of the other members of his tribe who have fallen along the way, who we know are dead, and then finally he also sees Gara shortly after Gara has perished unbeknown to him below the thing. So it's like it's really good. I did it. It's really good.
Oof. An oof moment.
It is indeed an oof moment. The thing, we can't underestimate the impact of FNA though, because literally our only emote is still a quote from L.
Yeah.
If anyone wonders about the provenance of Never Regret Pappy appearing in chat, then all I can say is you haven't watched enough of our early Symbaroum.
That actually heads back to like short and long term aims. We should have more emote slots. So we need to source some.
We need to get on that.
That's dull. We can do that.
We need to be more Twitch, don't we?
Yep.
We need to be more streamer, whatever.
We would also like to get an amount of merch sorted at some point in the next 12 months, probably.
Yeah. We also need to do, and like, I'm not going to go, we need to apologize. We don't need to apologize, I don't think, but we need to be a bit more on our Patreon, probably, in delivering stuff for the fine folks we're going to have a reshuffle of our Patreon in general over the next couple of months, and kind of see where those different tiers lie and see what other stuff we can offer. And there's things that people have expressed an interest in us providing, and we'll see what we can do about some of those things. So that's another thing that we've got to arrive. Steve said favorite period of shock silence during a stream. I think we already had that with our favorite on mute moment from Utrecht. Again, too many to choose from. All of them, however, were Mike's.
You did do one at the start of an episode, didn't you?
Yes.
Oh yeah, probably. There was one where I just kept talking for about a minute before I realized it wasn't me. Yeah. While everyone was howling at me in private.
Oh
chat.
God! But then there was Johnny. It wasn't silence in Johnny's case. There was a misread on a certain word on a comment that Johnny made, which was quite spectacular.
Yeah.
Oh, probably.
There was
yeah.
there was
Tentacles.
Just glossing over that. There was also a moment where my internet died, and you'd asked me a question about something like that was sort of really pivotal, and I was just sat there like this, and you thought that I was just building tension for like 30 seconds. That was good.
And they just thought you were just being.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. I would be being remiss if we were talking about comedy moments and I didn't mention my randomly saying the term man balls for no reason. Male balls for no reason. Secondly, the enduring success of people ribbing me for terming a meal available in a alternate kind of cult temple hideout as a buffet. And also me referring to an alien creature as being... I gave two comparisons for size. One was a tapir and the other was two lambs strapped together.
And you've bequeathed so much material for emotes. I don't know why we're not making use of it.
And you never clarified which way those.
I was going to say. I was just about to ask.
Either.
Look, I was just talking mass. I didn't say they looked like two lambs. Look, let's move on. Even though I brought it up.
Malice in chat has provided the exact moment in Shadows of Estrin where I realised I prefer not running pre-written adventures. Not a mute moment, but Johnny answering a question with no. Oh wait, yes.
Sounds about right.
And we got another one from chat, which was exactly.
Now in wet tubes. Oh, what was the? I can't even remember where this came up.
This is anything to do with the sinkhole in Cymberim.
What in Cymberim? Sorry.
Anything to do with the sinkhole. We just kind of
wet
over the course of like 3 weeks.
Horrible,
damp
passages.
Stuff. Moist holes.
We've got one from Uhtred here, which is favorite Matt's cat interruption. Now, I will claim, I will stand my ground here and say that in the level of frequent cat interruption on Telling Tales, my cat here, Jinx, is far, far, far below Inga's level of cat interruption.
The last stream
cats
for Cincinnati, the last stream for Cincinnati Chronicles was just fantastic. Solid 10 minutes at the start of just howling really in the background.
Yeah, really good evocative werewolf content by having a meow in the background. Good stuff.
But then the second part of Alien, the recent Alien, that was some challenging background activity.
Yeah.
Was Jinx up and about for that one? I never remember. It's all a blur
yes. And you were narrating him as he was doing things that made noise.
Oh, he was taking a shit. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's fine. It's body horror. It's part of it. Let's that might be everything for the questions we had on Discord. I think if I've missed one of your questions, I'm sorry. It's there is one from Steve. How the heck are we going to keep up with all the new RPG releases next year? No idea. Just no idea. If I've missed yours, sorry, really sorry. Rewrite it in the Discord and I'll answer it directly on there. But we do have some more stuff to talk about because John or Steve or Johnny or Chris or someone who has full StreamYard access. Can you go back to the top of chat and run through it and pop up anything you want? We do have one question from 42, which is, can you convert the two lambs units into metric? No. Not off the top of my head, but give me a pen and a pad of paper and several months. I can see that both John and Steve and maybe Johnny and Chris are all doing this. So this should be entertainingly slapdash.
Oh, God.
It's just who gets there first.
Yeah. So while they're doing that, how's everyone's Christmas? It's probably going to be pretty good, huh? I can't think of any global events that might interfere with it in any way.
Why did you do this?
But is it fair to say that without
side, Omicron might be overshadowed by Putin invading Ukraine?
Hooray!
Interestingly, John and Johnny together. How is this possible?
This is proof that we are separate people, despite having almost the same name.
I think the scarier thing is how frequently I am mistaken for Pierre by a member of my own household. When I was watching, when I was the one person watching the first vampire series last year, I was.
Oh, he's done the thing.
Oh, he's done it again.
I'm back. Yes, I was frequently asked last year why I was watching myself and when had I been in this stream that I was watching myself in, and it was Pierre. So that was good.
Yeah,
good. Well, Pierre's a handsome boy. I'm sure that's.
I took it as a compliment. I just felt bad for Pierre.
Yeah, it's fair. I remember as on the topic of like, you know, me and Chris, I remember me and Chris streaming some video games together, and this was a good few years ago now, and we had someone who I think was North American in the chat, and they just were like, why are you streaming together if you don't like each other?
Content, my friend, content.
Or alternately, how people from this part of the world express their love for each other.
If you like someone, you have to punish them via mockery until
got to bring them down to your level.
Exactly, until they're emotionally destroyed, and then they need you for some form of validation.
Yeah, exactly.
I do
I'll
remember.
Have you know, I'm lovely to all my other friends mostly.
It's just me.
Do you remember a long time ago seeing like a flowchart of how to tell if a British person likes you? And it's like, are they being polite to you? They hate you. Are they being mean to you? Yeah, they like you. Are they being really, really mean to you? They probably don't like you.
Yeah. if you punched through the politeness, then you know you're in trouble. 42. Any plans for Blades in the Dark? No overt plans at the moment. I definitely want to go back to Blades in the Dark, and like I don't want the story to end where we were with that big cliffhanger. I do want to go back to it. Here's the problem with going back to it in a concerted fashion. The numbers weren't great. And while we don't entirely do things based on the numbers, as I've already said, with the point with Cincinnati Chronicles and stuff, over time these things become more of a problem the longer it goes on. If you've only got 3 streams weekly, and one of them is not as popular as the others, over time it's bound to get less and less popular as people drop off. And I'm sure everyone here is familiar with that. I'm familiar with that. You know, there's stuff I love watching that I just stop watching one day for no real reason, because it's time investment and other things happen. So I'd love to go back to the Blades in the Dark campaign, and I think on balance we will at some point. I'm not sure if that'll be in kind of one-shot format or series format, but if we do, it probably won't be as long form as it was, because it ran for what, like nearly half a year, I think, if not maybe slightly longer. And I think we won't go back to it for that length of time again. But yeah, because I have no idea what we're going to do after Cincinnati Chronicles. Maybe we'll hop back onto Blades for a bit. I don't know. So I don't know, but I'd like to go back to it and get a bit more.
Yeah, I think one of the things we're having to figure out is when it's good to rotate series, how to keep things fresh, how to sort of keep introducing new people to older series. So yeah, it's something we're learning as we go along, I guess.
Yeah. And we're not, like I said, we're not entirely dependent on the numbers. We can't be with the numbers we're getting. You know what I mean? Like, we don't, you know, the one shots and the first episodes of series sometimes hit quadruple figures on YouTube. That's it. But it's really hard to gauge these things from Twitch, even though it's, I guess, our main vector, or at least where we start everything on. Because role-playing on Twitch has very much has a kind of glass ceiling on it, whereby right now if we're like, I know the Call of Cthulhu stuff that Johnny just did, and some Simbaroom stuff every now and then. Basically, we've capped out around 30 viewers. And for Twitch, as a broad Twitch standard, while that's way above what the average streamer is doing at any one point in time, it's way above it in a way that's like, 0 is a lot lower than 30. But by the same token, if you look at any kind of broad judgment of Twitch success, 30 is, and I won't mince words, pathetic. In terms of broad Twitch success, right? So it's one of these things where we've done a little bit of our market research here and looked at what role-playing does on Twitch. And essentially, if you're, I don't think Critical Role are even on Twitch, right? That's not their medium.
Oh no, they are, because they were the top earner.
Oh, are they? Okay. Oh, of course they are. Yeah. How to tell I don't watch Critical Role. Obviously, other than the big people like that, and you get another few bigger ones, and they do kind of like more standard successful Twitch numbers, in the hundreds or low thousands or whatever. Every time we go look at them, it's very, very clear it's a side hustle for people who mainly do video games. So their video game audience comes along and watches it. So something like, and it isn't these guys, but like, Yogscast have high rollers and stuff like that. But other people who I might not know the names of, it's very obvious it's them. As far as non-name people doing role-playing on Twitch, it's actually rare to go above what we have now, to the point where there's almost no ground between people who are already successful on Twitch and the highest tier of what you're likely to get at any one moment on tabletop role playing, at least in the hours we're doing it in. So it's kind of a tricky one, honestly. We don't do stuff by numbers, but occasionally, yeah. But at the same time, if something we're doing doesn't gets much lower numbers than the others, it becomes harder to justify doing it when it's one of our only three weekly spots. I think we've got to wave goodbye to Johnny for now, I'm afraid.
Yes, I may pop back, but I'm going to disappear temporarily.
Say goodbye to Johnny, everyone.
Merry Christmas if I don't see you all. Bye.
That sounded menacing. Yes. So that was a roundabout answer. Night Bites, with so many of you looking to run games, would you expand the nights you're live on? Would love to. Don't have the player numbers at the moment for that, because most of the people on our streams are already overloaded with the amount of stuff they very, very kindly do for us. I think it's possible that next year we might be able to expand to a fourth night. We have no lack of GMs wanting to take on a night, but it's just a case of finding the players to do that. So, but we have thought about, I don't want to dance around this subject because it's like it's one of the things I want to talk about. So, getting new players is interesting because if you run something like this, you're always, if you say, "Oh, we want more new players," you'll get offers. But those offers will likely be from folk like you in the chat, right? People who are interacting with us on our social media and our Discord and in chat here. That's something we're not at the moment would be super happy about, because we're strong believers in limiting this kind of parasocial relationship stuff on we're sure you're all lovely, but it's kind of like nowadays you kind of can't run the risk, if you see what I mean. So that's unlikely to be something that will happen. But what we might do at some point in the future is focus on recruitment, and that direct recruitment would be, and I'll be brutally honest, targeted towards the areas in which we are diversity deficient. Namely, we are white as fuck, folks, and we would like to broaden our diversity, because broad diversity is always a positive thing. Brings different backgrounds, different perspectives into things, and you become richer and stronger as a group for doing it. If you disagree with that, you're entitled to your opinion. I don't want to argue with you about it. So there. Yeah. So that's I guess what we'd be looking to moving towards. And frankly, we could probably also do with more women on the channel. It's areas which we know we're kind of deficient in, and people have brought it up before, and we are aware of it. But also, there's a thing of we're pretty casual, and we're just doing this with friends, and the areas in which we live may not be terribly diverse areas, etc., etc. So
and also the hobby that we're in is,
and also the hobby that we're in is kind of can be kind of gatekeepy, or getting better.
And the medium that we're doing it via.
Yes, because it is of course more vulnerable for people who are not just straight white dudes with beards. So yeah. So that would answer that. I think that I rambled on about other things to do with that, but that would answer that question. We'd love to add a fourth night. It might happen next year, but it probably will involve a bit of player recruitment, depending on how things go. Because obviously we all have our lives outside of this. Sadly.
Do you?
But
I don't.
I gotta go to work. There's that.
That is also partly why we're starting to do the pre-recording things. Partly because some people are more comfortable role-playing with it, but also it means that we can get things to people when schedules are a bit weird.
Yeah. Because we have some people who you may not have seen on the channel for a while, and it's entirely possible. Some people have just decided it's not their thing, but other people have decided that specifically being live is not their thing, but would be more than happy to do recording with us. And you may see a return of those lovely people when we move to the recording side of things. So, yeah, that was a very roundabout way to answer that question, but yes. Got any other questions or comments? I felt I saw some I've seen some other stuff I noticed, but maybe not. But yeah, touching on that kind of thing is always a bit like, honestly, I think the situation in stuff is that I'm someone not particularly vulnerable to this kind of thing, and I feel like mentioning it on stream is painting a target on my back. So yeah, but I can handle a target on my back. It's fine.
I know other groups are a little bit more open to. Well, I guess if there are smaller groups, there can be more cross-pollination between different role-playing groups coming together and sharing GMs.
And that may be the answer to it.
Yeah.
In terms of like bringing, and that's something we want to do as well. You know, a bit more. I am not good at this stuff by nature, which is why we haven't really led with it so far. Because I don't think it's any great secret that I'm. Is it too egotistical to say I'm the hub around which a lot of this rotates in terms of just the backstage management of it?
I don't think it would have happened if, if you weren't there.
No.
So,
and I'm shit at networking.
You're the Tails daddy.
Oh,
Tails daddy. Wow.
Let's just all agree to never say that again, if that's okay.
Let's
hold on to that thought, everybody. Just let that sort of
No, why not just not hold on to that thought? And
Holly
just maybe
is clearly nauseous. So let's I'm shit at networking, and I'm not a terribly social creature. Malice has asked, what about opening a US based team like Garblag? I mean, it's possible, but we need US based people for that. And we don't. We've had one American player, and he does not live in America, so it's it's a possibility. But I think like the things like that will only happen through us networking and being a bit more social than we have been, and because a lot of that, the social media controllers revolved around me. I'm crap at it, and I don't want to do it, and I just want to live in a little hole by myself. So, and also, and I don't know how weird people will find this. I can count the number of actual play streaming series that I've watched and enjoyed on one finger. This isn't my thing to watch and enjoy necessarily, so I don't have that like access to these things. And I think, as with all things, we've all found ourselves, even whatever we do watch of this, it's maybe reduced what we already did watch, because like anything, if you're working at something and you're doing a lot of it, it maybe makes you want to watch other people doing that less because it, pulls the curtain back and whatever. So
I think I'm kind of a weird case because I've been able to. I've watched quite a few shows recently from various different,
fair enough,
different people. But again, I think part of that might just be down to the situation we've been in for the last couple of years. So having stuff on in the background whilst I'm working.
Yeah,
I haven't been reading the news.
Watching, my watching of actual plays has increased significantly since working from home.
Oh, fair enough. More networking is more good. We've got Johnny again. More networking is more good, and hopefully we'll get some more of that done, and we'll build links and bring people in and blah blah blah. But yeah, I think so. Have we got any other comments or questions now that Johnny's returned? It's time to finish.
Always come back.
Yeah. Is there anything anyone here on stream wants to bring up or questions they want to talk about? Or it's fine if we don't. We can wrap this up and go have our tea.
I mean, I guess there's the question of did you think that we'd get to this position when we started? Are we on track?
Define position. Numbers wise, or like what we're doing, or
I guess number of series, amount of feedback. Numbers
longevity.
Are always going to be a bit of a weird. Yes, yeah.
I am pleasantly surprised that we're running as much stuff as we are, and also that right now running the amount we are is significantly easier than it was at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Numbers wise, I honestly didn't know what to expect. I am, if there are any out there long-term followers of myself and Chris and some of the other folks on Telling Tales are long-term boondoggle of ATCB Gaming, also formerly originally known as the Town Called Bastard. I am well used to plugging away at things long after it has become clear that they're not viable. So I was expecting to still be here with this by now, yeah. But I honestly didn't know what to expect for it. So yeah. But having three ongoing weekly series and monthly one shots, I was doubtful when we started up that we'd still be doing all that by the end of the year, but we are. So that's good. Yeah. Anything from anyone else?
I think that we have a really nice group on the Discord and in the viewership as well, which is nice. A nice little group of people that, are excited to see where the stories go and also chat about other things. But, in terms of the actual content that we're putting out, it's nice to have people who are sort of following along and keen to see what we do next. That's really nice.
A little community. We've only had to kick one person. He was weird. I'm not sure he even watched any of our stuff. So I'll call him out.
Having anyone pay money for this is
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for watching. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, a massive thank you to, even if you just watch, that's great. But thank you to anyone on our Patreon. Thank you to anyone who participates in our Discord community, who subscribes and follows and all that stuff. God knows why you do it, but bless you. No, thank you. Sincerely, thank you. It's kind of mind melting when you start this sort of thing and you're like, we're just fucking around. Why are people paying us money to do this? But thank you so much for that. And also, and just from me, you know what? Thank you to everyone on the TT crew through 2021, because obviously I couldn't do this on my own, clearly. And you all kind of have made it happen by being willing enough to partake in this foolishness. And a particular thank you as well. And I don't mean to exclude anyone else by picking out individuals, because everyone has contributed massively. But thank you to Johnny for stepping up and taking a whole night to himself, because that's honestly been so good to have, because you feel like you're doing something proper if someone else is like going, yeah, I'll do a big thing on it as well. Huge thanks to Steve, because the hours this lad has put into creating almost every asset you have seen on, if not every asset on Telling Tales, has been Steve. Every intro card, every thumbnail, every design piece of work, broadly speaking, has come from Steve. He's an absolute trooper, so thank you to Steve, because they're great as well. I really love our look. I hope everyone else does too, but I really love our design. And thank you to John for doing incredible amounts of character art, and incredible amounts of keeping people sane and just doing little bits here and there and all sorts of stuff. And also because they were both our long-term stream managers, which is a thankless job. And they did a huge amount of work on that as well. There's probably other people who I should be. I don't want to turn it into an Oscar speech, but everyone on the crew has contributed massively to what we do. So, thank you to everyone, because we couldn't have done all this through 2021 without everyone involved, which is a truism, but also a true truism. Yes. Malice, thanks to all of you for spending time doing this stuff. I always hate missing a live stream, but I really enjoy what you all are doing. Thank you, Malice, and you've been with us here for a long time now, and we appreciate it very much so. Here, says Sauerkraut. God, I think that's everything. I've said a lot of true and meaningful things in a row there, so I'm feeling pretty uncomfortable now. So
try saying some utter barefaced lies to, just
next year coming on Telling Tales. Matt delves into D&D because he's just realized he loves it. He loves every bit of it.
I did wonder whether we were going to at some point run a B one shot of Symbaroum 5e just to see how it differs.
I'd be really up for that if I'm not running it. No, I'd probably run it if we really want to give that a go and want to do that. You know what? I actually do want to do some D&D. I want to do some purposefully obscure D&D because it's me, so obviously yes. So I might end up running some 2.5 edition weirdo stuff from the 90s again, like Planescape or Alkadir, Ravenloft or Dark Sun or Spelljammer or Birthright,
the ancient lore.
All that just the weirdo 90s stuff. Maybe I'll run some of that at some point. I will spend the entire thing, insulting it. Them.
But that means you love it, right?
That's how I would like kicks. To point out we do have photographic evidence of Matt playing D&D at some point.
Recorded evidence.
Yes. Specifically, Matt has it, which means he may or may not have deleted it by now
to
remove the evidence.
It'll be in one of the higher patron tiers.
Yeah, the highest. Pay us $1,000 a month to have evidence that I have played D&D.
That is the price of Matt's shame. It's 1,000 sterling a month.
It was a. You'd be surprised what I do for $1,000 a month. It was a recorded thing we did for the old channel for ATCB Gaming, where Johnny was running Mines of
Fandolver. Yeah, the intro adventure. Yeah.
And I was a big old dragonman.
You were.
What are they called?
Dragonborn.
Dragonborn. Yeah.
Dragonborn.
I was a Dragonborn. Yeah. So and it was
the rest of the party were on a quest to find the other 6. That was the whole.
It was pitched as a kind of Matt plays D&D thing, wasn't it? Which was a bit egotistical of it, I suppose. But maybe we'll do that at some point. And then Johnny, I guess, can play a system he hates. Johnny doesn't hate anything. He's a lovely man. He's not like me.
You're a lovely man, Matt.
Oh, that's nice of you to say.
That's nice of you to lie.
Yeah.
This was a lying segment. So.
Yeah, this is the lying segment. Yeah. So plenty of D&D coming from me next year. That's my lie. Anyone else want to lie about something that won't happen in 2022?
I'm sure I will find happiness.
Just any positive geopolitical events we want to put out there. is definitely going to have
in-person sessions before spring. Definitely,
definitely going to have some of them. Yeah.
Can't
I mean, you can have them now, just with.
You can have them outside. There's less than so.
Or you can have them inside and get sick.
Or you can have
them outside and freeze to death.
Or you can have them outside if you're Tory, or inside, or anywhere.
Yeah.
With as many people as you want. Okay. Off the back of that, delightful shoehorning of politics, keep politics out of our games. Games are politics. Everything's politics. So moving on, let's go into our goodbye spiel. Thank you to everyone on this stream. Thank you to everyone off this stream, whether you watched or a member of the crew or whatever. Telling Tales has had a really fun 2021. We hope you enjoyed it. We're going to make 2022 even the same. Maybe better, maybe slightly worse, but probably around the same level. Probably roughly in that thing, it's just an actual play Twitch and YouTube. So there's a limit to what we can do for you. But we will remain in that band of expectation. Certainly, probably. And on that wonderful note, good night, everyone. We've enjoyed doing this stream for you.
So hang on, you're telling me I spent the last 3 days learning the traditional Irish Christmas song.
Oh shit! I can't believe we nearly. Okay, right. To take us off. Sorry, Chris. I'm so sorry. Especially since I was the one who emotionally blackmailed you into doing this.
Yeah, precisely.
It's almost as if he did it on purpose.
Chris has got some music for us.
I've been told to give you some music. I just want to make sure we're in the right dance.
And I think all we said, I think we were like maybe something festive and maybe something about murder.
Yeah. So I'm not getting paid for this, so I'm going to take some liberties. Insofar as that I started learning this 3 days ago, and that's generally not enough time to get the words learned down pat. But to challenge myself, I'm going to do it without any lyrics on screen. So, is everyone ready for a very nice, festive Irish folk song which has no political connotations?
Can I just say I don't believe you that it has no political connotations?
Then I'll begin. And also, please excuse me because I have not yet found the right key for this. Oh, me and me brother. Oh, me and me cousin on Arthur McBride, when we went a-walking down by the seaside. Come listen here closely to what did betide, for it being on Christmas morning. And for recreation we made for to... hang on, I'll get into the swing of it. And for recreation we went for to tramp, and we met Sergeant Macefield and Corporal Vamp. Oh, come on, Chris.
Lyrics on screen, man. Do it with the lyrics.
No, we'll get there. And a little young brother intending to camp, for the day being pleasant and charming. Good morrow, the sergeant did cry, and the same to you, gentlemen, we did reply, intending no harm, but we made to pass by, it being on Christmas morning. But says he, my fine fellas, if you will enlist, it's 5 guineas in gold I will place in your fist, and a crown in the morning to kick up the dust, and drink the king's health in the morning. For a soldier he lives a very fine white life, and he's often to be seen with a handsome young wife, and he pays all his debts without sorrow or strife, and he always is pleasant and charming. And a soldier he always is decent and clean, in the finest of clothing he's often to be seen. And he, while others they live all frugal and mean, and sup on thin gruel in the morning. But says Arthur, I wouldn't be proud of your clothes, for you've only the loan of them, as I suppose. And if you should change them, then everyone knows you'll be flogged half to death in the morning. And myself and me cousin were single and free, and we take much delight in our own company. And we have no desire strange places to see, although your fine offers are charming. So we will not be taking your advance. All items and contracts we leave up to chance, for you'd have no scruples to send us to France, where we would be shot without warning. Here now, says the sergeant, I'll have no such chat, and ne'er will I take it from spalpeen or brat, for if you insult me with one other word, I'll cut off your head in the morning. So Arthur and I, we soon draw our spades, and we gave them no chance for to reach their own blades. But our trusty shillelagh we brought down their heads, and bade them take that as fair warning. And the little wee drummer, we flattened his pow, and we made a football of his rowdy dow, threw it in the tide for to rock and roll, and bade it a tedious returning. And the two rusty sabres they hung by their side, sure we threw them as far as we could in the tide. Here listen, says Arthur McBride, and sharpen their edge in the morning. And so to conclude and to settle accounts, we kindly offered if they wanted recruits, for we are the lads who had gave them hard clouts on the beach on the fair Christmas morning. I wasn't on mute!
Beautiful.
Amazing. And as you say, I hold my hands up, entirely unpolitical. As soon as you mentioned a king, I was like, oh, there's nothing's
going to go wrong at exactly this moment in the song.
This is probably just a nice song. Lovely. Thank you so much, Chris. We hope everyone enjoyed that. And without any further ado, because we've rambled on quite enough now. So thank you very much, everyone. And we will see you in 2022. Have a very lovely and safe festive period, if that's your thing. If not, just have a very lovely and safe 2 weeks. And we'll see you in 2022. Goodbye, everyone.
Ow. I'm fine.
Oh, no.